What's up, YouTube? Welcome to another episode of the Undergrad Forum. Today we're going to talk about taking time off before med school. And today I got a special host, Cyrus, one of my classmates here. And we're both second years, and I think both of us, we took time off before med school, yeah?
Yes.
Alright, so we're going to talk about what does it mean to take time off, what can you do on your time off, what not to do on your time off, and then we'll conclude with some of our own personal stories of what we did, what we regret, what we loved, and hopefully you guys will get insight because taking time off is something to really think about. You don't just do it nilly-willy. Alright, so what does it mean to take time off? You went to college or you're still in college, you're sending out your AMCAS. If you want to go straight from college into medical school, you need to be filling out your AMCAS during junior year, right? Mm-hmm. And submitting that time in the summer before senior year. Mm-hmm. If you do that, that means you're going straight out. If you're taking 1 year off, you'll do that in your senior year. Mm-hmm. So after graduation, I submitted my AMCAS, and then we started the whole AMCAS game. So that's what it means to take time off. Mm-hmm. But why would you want to do it? So what do you think are some reasons as to why a student would want to take time off or need to even take time off?
Taking time off because they need to take time off. That's, I would say, one of the most important reasons.
But why? Like, why would they need to?
Because they need to take that time off after you're kind of burned out after undergrad and you want some time to yourself. That's not a good enough reason?
Okay, so I'm going to disagree with that. Okay.
I always say that's a big reason. That's one of the major reasons people do it.
I disagree. Okay, so this will be a better video. You're going to have two opposing viewpoints. So I disagree with that. I'll be honest. I burned out at the end of college. I was exhausted.
Okay, so then...
But I didn't take a year off solely for that, though.
You're lying to yourself then if you think.
Maybe I am lying. No, I'm not lying. No, I'm not. Why would no one's going to take a year off just to goof off the whole year.
I'm not saying goof off, but I'm just saying take a time off from studying, take a time off from, working.
Oh, of course, yeah. But you're going to still be working.
You're going to still be working in the sense that you're doing research, you're doing volunteer work, but taking time off so that you're not in the school setting.
Okay, I'll give you that. Okay, I thought you meant taking time off to just, relax because you're tired.
No. To take off from the school setting.
Okay, I think we should explain that to them because we have some conversations in our head that we just figured out that we didn't tell. Okay, so if you're going to if everyone takes time off for different reasons, but the mass majority, Cyrus was right. You do it because, school's tiring and you want to get most of the time you want to get something done before med school. And a lot of people will take a time off just to simply improve their application.
That's another major reason.
That's a huge reason. Some people have a weak application and need to take time off to add things to it to improve. Whether it be a post-bac program, the mass majority of people do research, volunteer work, or some kind of job, medical or non-medical related. So everyone was burned out. So I want to say it's inherent that if you're taking a time off, you're enjoying the fact that you're recovering from the burnout of college. Mm-hmm. That's just an inherent understanding. Part of what it makes your application better is that you will be doing things that other people who went straight out didn't have time to do. Mm-hmm. So what did you do in your time off?
So I did a lot of different things. I wouldn't say I necessarily had one stellar thing. I wasn't working a job constantly, but I was working. Mm-hmm. I worked a little bit. I did a lot of volunteering. And I did continued my research from undergrad. But it was just off and on throughout the year. It wasn't anything set in stone. Right. Because it was also a time to enjoy myself from, kind of recover from the burnout of undergrad. Right. And then I traveled too.
No way.
It was very fun.
Where'd you go?
So usually whenever you become when you get accepted into medical school, you enroll in August. Sometime right there. So from the beginning of July until August, or the end of August, or actually it was about a month, or a month and a half that I went to Europe.
Oh, that's very good.
I went to Norway, Scotland, and London, which is really random, but I have some family in Norway, which was one of the best experiences I've ever had.
So you enjoyed your year off?
Yes, I thoroughly enjoyed my year off.
Do you regret anything about your year off?
Maybe not not really, it was just a time to recover. It was a time to just kind of grow as a person.
Right.
Outside of the school setting. Mm-hmm. If there was one thing I regret, is just not doing more. Like I could have done so much more that I've had, like the interest like that I've had throughout medical school
That's
that
right.
I couldn't have, that I can't pursue now,
can't.
that I could have done during that year off. Like right now, I enjoy trading.
Oh, that's right.
I
Yeah,
enjoy trading. Like I enjoy learning about the stock market.
That's right.
I kind of started like right around the beginning of medical school. So if I could have pursued that during my year off, that would have been fun.
That's true. That is something to do. So I did it a bit different. I took a year off and I did research almost every day up until like a month before school. But it wasn't like I worked like, I was pulling hours from like, it was a regular work day. I went in when the postdocs were, then I left almost with everyone else. So for me, I enjoyed my research. I was in a very good lab. It was small. It was like I knew the PI, we would have lunch together. It was very casual. So I enjoyed going to lab, and it was close by my home. So that made me very happy. I enjoyed working there. I also worked as a phlebotomist just because I enjoyed it. I thought it was fun. And I volunteered as well, like at a hospital. Mm-hmm. So you can't take your year off and do nothing. Mm-hmm. Because in your secondary application, when you're applying, they're going to ask you, if you took time off, what did you do? And I'll just tell you now, every single person on admissions committee wants to see productivity in that year off. If what you did in your year off was, backpack through Europe, that's fine.
That's fine.
But you need to at least be intelligent about how you say it. Don't just say, I was bored, so, no. Tell us about what you did, what you got out of it, how you grew as a person, and that's perfectly fine. If you sat on the couch all day and just watched TV...
That's not a good reason.
No. Or you better sell that like there's no tomorrow. I can't imagine how you would, though. But really, you have to be productive, and because this is part of your professional career. Like now you're becoming a professional, so your time is always productive and valuable. You're being an academic. You can't just waste time anymore. That was back in elementary and high school, I guess.
Yes.
High school is all wasted time, but you can't do that anymore. So I did that. I didn't travel, but I spent a lot of time doing things I enjoyed. Like I enjoy like woodworking. I enjoy like building things and like even setting up a sprinkler system in my backyard. Like that kind of stuff I love, and I did a lot of that.
That's something you can talk about on your interview days. Like the passions that you have, if you pursue them during your year off, that's like the best thing that you can be doing.
You're absolutely right. Like my woodworking, we talked about that every single interview. Or like my passion with cars and like what I did to them. Every guy always asks me, so you like cars, right? That's like a 10-minute discussion right there. Plus points. Regret-wise, I would say that I do regret. So one thing that I absolutely loved my year off is I was tired. I think everyone's tired after undergrad. It was a tough 4 years. And so my year off, I spent a lot of time watching movies. Like, I really missed out on a lot of good movies. I enjoy cinema, so I subscribed to Netflix, to Hulu. I had movies coming in every day to watch. So after working all day and, like, doing research and, like, volunteering, so I would spend, I would watch a movie a day almost. Mm-hmm. And that was just something I enjoyed, and that was something I brought up during the interviews. Like, I now know a lot about movies and cinema. One thing I would say I would regret is that I wish I would have, like, traveled or done something that kind of would be different. Like I did a lot of kayaking in my year off, which was to me a lot of fun. But traveling is one thing I would have actually. I always think about. I should have traveled.
I love to travel, so
everyone does almost, right?
Everybody I think loves to travel, but just take advantage of the time. Don't, like we said, it's the worst thing you can do is just sitting at home and not being productive.
Right.
So if you're taking a year off, make sure you're doing something.
And if you notice, both of us, like by default, said we're doing research and volunteering. So like volunteering is expected, right? Mm-hmm. You can't not do it almost. And research, most people who like research will do it. Why not? You can publish in your year off easy.
Yeah, I didn't, but
whatever. It's very likely to happen because you have a lot of time.
Well, I honestly don't think you necessarily have to do volunteering or research. Like we did it because like we enjoyed doing it, but
that's just part of what we did in undergrad too, though.
But if you don't do that, like you can go work. Like there would be nothing wrong with working like a full-time job. Like if you didn't have money and you needed to get some money before med school, that would be something that would be fine.
But we both lived at home in our year off.
Yeah,
so we had the luxury of not having bills.
But if you have to go work a 9-to-5 job to get money, there's nothing wrong with that as long as you're productive.
That's a very good point. I think so. We're both on the interview people like at our school, and I interviewed a student who had a full-time job as like an advisor to some like political campaign.
That would be so cool.
That was cool, right?
That's so cool. You could talk about that during your interview.
But he also did a little bit of volunteering and research.
Yeah, you could.
It's so weird. It's like it's always there. Sorry, go ahead.
I think it's just as long as you're productive. That's the main thing. We just keep saying that over and over again.
Yeah, but that, to us, it's obvious what
Yeah.
productive is. We have to remember, not everyone remembers that.
Oh, yeah, when we say productive, that doesn't necessarily entail research and volunteering.
Right.
You can be, honestly, like if you travel the whole year,
That's productive.
I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
Not
Like
at all.
that's something you can talk about in your interview. Like I traveled to Africa, I traveled to Europe, I traveled to Asia. I did this, and this there, or like I just went for pleasure and
Had fun.
But that's something productive. That's as long as you're not sitting on your couch and playing video games all day.
Yeah. And I mean, I watched a ton of movies
Yeah.
during my year off, but I did it while doing everything else.
Yeah.
Like, so I had fun and I was productive.
Yeah.
And even if all you do is, like, say you like kayaking a lot. Actually, one of my applicants did that. He was smart. He liked kayaking and bicycling, so he went and worked at like a sports shop. And like 9 to 5, he would just work there and sell stuff. But then he get a discount on supplies and would go on the weekends and play.
That's great. You're smart.
So that's
Smart
called
guy.
being productive. He enjoyed his year off, but he was doing things he had to do.
Yeah.
And if you can, live at home. It makes the year off so much easier. But if you don't want to, don't, right?
I would say that the majority of applicants these days, they're taking years off.
Yeah.
A lot of people aren't coming in directly from school because, med schools like these days, they like the non-traditional applicant that are not coming out of undergrad directly, I would say.
I wouldn't even dare to say that taking a year off seems traditional now.
Yeah,
You know?
it does.
I heard of a statistic that there's like 60% of students will take 1 year or more years off, and only about 40% will go straight through.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not easy to get in straight through anymore, man.
It
People
is
have
not.
hardcore applications now.
Yeah, because they're taking not just 1 year off, they're taking like 3 or 4 years off and doing ridiculous things.
I
with
mean,
time.
like one of my friends took off 4 years. He spent like 2.5 years with the Peace Corps, 1 year doing research, and like 1 year like doing other. Like he took off 4 years before med school.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we both took off 1, which would you have taken off 2 or more if you could have?
If I would have had a plan,
Yeah.
like if I had planned, like, because when I went into my year off, I really didn't plan, like, that was the great thing about the year off. But,
Yeah.
like, if I would have planned, I would have said 1 year would have been enough, but I don't know, 1 year was enough for me.
For me, it was enough, too.
Yeah, that's enough.
Yeah.
But just make sure you have a plan on what you want to do, and it will make it a lot more easier, so you won't have any regrets. Like, right now, I just have that.
But I mean, yeah, planning I think was key. Like I already had my research set up and my volunteering like before the year even started. Like I set that up in college, because like to me I was very paranoid. I wanted a worst case scenario in set. Like if I couldn't do anything else, I had those set up.
Mm-hmm.
And I would even dare to say that my year off so far has been like the most like enjoyable year of my life. Like med school is great and all, but like that was such a fun year.
Well, the point where you get into med school,
Yeah.
and then before you enroll in med school, it's like probably the best time of your life.
That's
I would
true.
say, because you know you're going to med school, but you haven't actually started med school.
No, there's no, yeah.
But med school is like the best part of your life too. But,
It's great, yeah.
But I mean, it's a lot of hard work. So
But in that time, you're right. In that time of your year off and you've already been accepted,
that pressure's off. But
you're like in Candyland as far as I'm concerned. All right, guys. So what else can I mention? Any last points about the year off? All right, guys. Hope you enjoyed this video. The myths of the year off dispelled. We both took a year off. Most people are taking time off. Most people do research and volunteering. And the smart people do other fun stuff as well. Traveling, kayaking, bicycling, building things, whatever makes you happy. Trading stocks, kitty stop. Whatever works. All right, guys. Hope you enjoyed this video. Leave any comments you have below. Tell us what you did in your year off below. Send me a message if you want. And as always, enjoy your studies.